I want to make some nuts and blocks. After sufficient consumption, I sat down and cut up a 90mm round bar, but we'll come to that later. Let's begin with some 40mm and make a nut. Chuck it up, facing, center drilling, and a way too big 10mm pilot drill. Follow up with an 18mm drill and boring it to the minor thread diameter. Speaking of threads, in here I need something that appeared to me as an M21 by 1mm thread, which I couldn't find listed as a norm, so there isn't gonna be a tab for me, so I have to single point thread this. And not having a blind hole would make this easier, but I wanted the outside to be as coaxial with the thread as possible, so parting it off right now is not really an option. Here I just turned an undercut for the tool to run into and now grind a small boring bar into said threading tool. I do this mostly by eye and by checking it in the threads of the collet against the backlight. I set the feet to the wrong pitch here, because reasons, and I went to the correct one. For the thread cutting, I thought I'd give you like a small walkthrough, or how I do it in this case. So first thing, I set 0 in the cross feed, then apply some liberation juice. I have a mark on the tool where I need to stop, because otherwise the tool would run into the part and commit harakiri. Then I set the depth of cut with the cross feed, which is not ideal, but I'm lazy, and engage the feed. As there are no brakes on this fun ride, we are going at a mild 42 RPM. And this is rinse and repeat until the collet screws in, just like this. Now just some sanding, a chamfer, and parting it off. Yeah, this lathe doesn't like parting blades, so that's just one option. Now just some cleanup and the nut is complete. And oh yeah, I remember why I usually didn't use this tool. I just can't get the chips to break. So I got to facing, afterwards measuring the diameter. I refuse to elaborate and ignore my chip problem altogether. Just don't get in front of the jack. Those clumps have a tendency to catch the jaws and get sent. To help the drill start properly, I chamfered the pilot hole. Necessary? I don't know. To get closer to finished size though, I tried this scuffed 22mm drill. Let's just say there's a reason why it now lives in the very back of the cabinet. Just like the second one I had. So boring it was. 90mm deep, and I'm quite low on small boring bars. So this was a tight fit. In a blind bore.
Fun.
But it worked. Nice. Next up was the taper. So I adjusted the top slide to 19.5 degrees, which I had somehow calculated to be correct. It wasn't. So some testing later I settled on 20.5 degrees. Close enough, right? Until this fit. Nice. On to the other side and do it all again. But since I now held onto it via aluminum shims, I didn't want to go all in on the first cut. As a result, the tool tip immediately burned up.
Fun.
Me, being not really eager to grind this out, changed to a ceramic insert, lowered the feed and increased the depth of cut. You've already seen the rest before. Indicating the part back in, as close as possible at least, I machined it to length and put in a counter bore. So now the nut could pull the collet down the taper and tighten it. Using the fly cutter to machine the block square was bound to take a while, especially because I had to run it slower than this. I even considered using a forge-or chuck in a lathe to turn it square, but I just couldn't get it indicated properly. So I got more beverages and got to it. The last thing this piece needed was a tapped hole for a screw, which would keep the collet from turning as it's tightened. And of course the lowest the table went was too high, but don't worry, just stack up some stuff from the base to make it reach. So this is it finished, and it should be useful for machining small round stock in the mill. You may wonder what happened to the second blank I prepared. It's supposed to become a hexagonal block, but I just didn't have the time to make that happen. Goodbye for now. Feel free to leave a comment, and thanks for watching.